Breaking news and continuing coverage, a New Jersey federal judge makes a lengthy order on Wednesday saying that the effort to deport former Columbia grad student and pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil is likely a violation of the U.S. Constitution. Khalil is currently being held at an ICE processing center in Jena as his legal battles play out. Here's the latest on his case. Could a federal judge dismiss Mahmoud Khalil's deportation? Khalil's deportation is something Judge Michael Farbiaz says likely violates the U.S. Constitution. According to the Associated Press, Judge Michael Farbiaz ruled that the government's justification for removing Khalil from Louisiana could lead to arbitrary enforcement. However, the AP says Judge Farbiaz did not release him from custody due to insufficient response to charges about, quote, not properly disclosing personal details in his permanent residency application, end quote. The judge plans to review additional evidence in the coming days while evaluating Khalil's request for release, according to the AP.
It's clear that based on the law, there is an egregious violation, and the relief for that would be to terminate proceedings and dismiss the case.
Earlier this month, Khalil faced an immigration hearing where Khalil's lawyers pushed for his deportation order to be dismissed.
The agent who wrote up the arrest report initially said they told Mahmoud that they had a warrant. That was a lie. They then submitted that same document to the immigration court, essentially saying by submitting it, that they had a warrant. That was a lie.
Since his March 8th arrest, Khalil has been in ICE custody for 82 days and remains detained at the Central Louisiana ICE Processing Center over in Jena. Hundreds of protesters across the country, some of whom made their way to the processing center where he's detained, have called for Khalil's release. This as protests continue in support of Palestine and Israel across the world as the war in Gaza continues.